Hey, how are you doing? It's Alan here from Looking for Warriors, and I just want to welcome you today. I want to welcome you to the fifth dimension because we all moved into the fifth dimension and we haven't realized it. So, what is the fifth dimension? Well, it's really, really simple. If you're an ant and you're walking along the ground, even if you're going down into like your ant hole, your perception is of one dimension, because the dimension is width, another dimension is length. I think we all understand that. So width and length, they're two dimensions. But an ant is so small, he's not noticed, he doesn't have this concept of two dimensions. He's living in a one-dimensional world. Even if he's walking up a tree to get leaves, it's still one dimension for him. And then there's width, height, and length, which is three dimensions. It's a three-dimensional world. And I would suggest that maybe dogs and a lot of animals live in this world of width, height, and length. Because there's another dimension of time, which if you leave your dog at home and go away, the dog really lives in the moment. He doesn't have the concept of time. He's just, when he sees you again, he's delighted. He's jumping up and down. He's delighted. I don't think he has the concept of time. He's just being in a place for a certain amount of time, but he's not measuring that time. So that dog is living in a three-dimensional world of width, height, and length. And we've always been living in a four-dimensional world, width, height, length, and time. So we've been living in that four-dimensional world. But a new dimension has snuck up on us, and no one talks about it. We've gone into a fifth-dimensional world, and we haven't noticed. And the fifth dimension is computer space. Because I can take a document, I can take this document here, I can take my camera out, I can take a picture of that and send it up to the cloud. Now I can destroy it in the four dimensions that we have here. I can destroy the document. But the document still exists in the fifth dimension. And my kids live mostly in the fifth dimension. You know, your life on Tinder, your life on, they're not on Tinder, they're small kids, but I'm just saying what is part of that. Your whole world on Instagram and Facebook, how you project yourself, that's all fifth dimensional stuff. That's not in the fourth dimensions that we live in. It's all fifth dimensional stuff. Documents that you take that used to be in a filing cabinet and are now on a cloud drive storage somewhere, or even on your computer. They're all in the fifth dimension. That's a whole new dimension that we didn't have before. And if I took someone from only 100 years ago and tried to explain Wi-Fi and the cloud and all this fifth dimensional stuff, he wouldn't have a clue what I'm talking about. And he couldn't conceive of it. If I went back to Jesus' time and tried to explain the fifth dimension to them, you wouldn't have words to explain the fifth dimension. So we're all living in the fifth dimension now. Now, fifth dimension doesn't mean that the other dimensions go away. We've still got the other four dimensions, and we've still got time, we've still got width, height, length. We're still here, but we've got an extra dimension, the fifth dimension, which was inconceivable 100 years ago. Absolutely inconceivable. And there's so much, whether it's just infrared, or with a remote control or Wi-Fi, all of these beams and all of the invisible fields around us that I don't comprehend. I don't know how Wi-Fi works. I know that I can put stuff on the internet. I don't have a detailed understanding of how it all works, but I know it works. I don't know how electricity works. We can get we can have models to suggest to us how electricity works. So deep down, we don't know really how electricity works. We just know it works. So we're all living in the fifth dimension now. And more of our lives are probably in the fifth dimension than they are in the other third. There's so many people who are so exciting and interesting and have incredible lives on Instagram. But in real life, they're not that interesting. Their fifth dimensional life is much more interesting than their the third and fourth dimensional lives. So, I want to welcome you the fifth dimension. It's been Alan here from Looking for Warriors. Do me a favour in the fifth dimension. Hit that subscribe button. That really helps me out and it makes me feel good.